Hello everybody, today is the day which is marked by Alcoholics Anonymous as the beginning of their movement. It was in 1935 that the Wall Street analyst Bill Wilson, who was a recovering alcoholic, met up with Bob Smith, who was a top-notch surgeon, who was also an alcoholic, and helped him, and together they supported each other in dealing with their alcoholism. Then over the next 2 or 3 years they developed the ways of mutual support that they discovered helped, and in 1939 published a book, Alcoholics Anonymous, the story of how more than 100 people have recovered from alcoholism, which is now in the movement generally shortened to the Big Book. And in this book, among other things, is recounted the 12 steps, the procedures through which alcoholics try to overcome their alcoholism. And I think these are helpful not just for alcoholics, not just for people who are addicted to something, but for all of us. They encourage us to look at our lives, to examine our relationships, and to try and put right anything that's wrong. But perhaps more than anything else, the fundamental principle is the recognition, in the case of alcoholism, that the person is powerless to deal with it themselves, that they need to let go of the attempt to try and sort it out by themselves, and in the case of alcoholism, to seek the help of a higher power. And that can be any kind of spiritual support received from outside. It doesn't have to be a particularly religious thought. It isn't necessarily referring to God. Well, I just thought that for many of us, as I say, whether we're addicted or just struggling with something in our lives, it is really helpful sometimes to accept that we can't deal with it on our own, that we have to let go of the desire to sort it all out by ourselves and seek help from other people, to find support, to find strength from sharing whatever it is that we're struggling with those who we know can help us, and particularly, as in the case of alcoholism, with people who've been through the same sort of experience and who are probably maybe still struggling with it themselves. That's the way I think we can often deal with so many of our issues in our lives, so many problems that we have. Of course, for those of us who are that way inclined, to seek help from a higher power, again, whether we think of it as God or something different, it can be enormously valuable. And indeed, those of us who are Christians would say that there is a great help to come from prayer and from seeking God's help with things, as indeed there is witnessed by many people who simply let go and seek help from beyond without it being a religious thing. And I just wanted to mention today that the desire to control our own lives can often lead us into not being able to deal with some of the major things that are a struggle for us. And we need to perhaps let go of the idea that we can control ourselves and allow others to help us, and allow a higher power to be our support and part of our healing.